Hey guys, I'm Abby.
And I'm Keith.
Welcome to our 80s Life podcast. In our latest YouTube video, we talked about scratch and sniff stickers. And we asked you guys a question. What did the 80s smell like? Now, we got a lot of answers, but I have compiled them. And the number one top answer was...
Aquanet.
Aquanet hairspray.
Let's take a smell.
Okay.
Mm.
Yep. I still remember it. It smells just like the 80s.
It does.
The ozone layer didn't stand a chance.
So today what we're going to talk about is, what did the 80s smell like?
Keith and I both collected scratch and sniff stickers. So in case you missed our last video, be sure and watch that where we did the scratch and sniff sticker challenge. I don't want to brag, but...
Oh, she wants to brag.
I totally won the scratch and sniff sticker challenge.
Second
annual.
I don't know if it was much of a challenge, to be quite honest.
I mean, it was pretty hard, honestly. I barely won. I just eked out a win.
Well, all mine smelled of garlic. So,
That's true. They got tainted by the pickle.
Yes.
And the pizza.
Yep.
All right. But that prompted a conversation of smell. What did the 80s smell like? You know, our sense of smell of all the senses is the most tied to memory. And so that's why smells can sort of like just trigger these memories out of the blue. It's so crazy how that happens.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, sometimes I'll smell something and it'll just take me back to something I had totally forgotten about, but then all of a sudden it was just so clear and vivid.
And that happened recently to you, didn't it, with this little guy right here?
Oh, yeah. So Abby decided to get a little cheap on the soap.
No, the usual brand that we buy wasn't at my store. It wasn't available, and we were out of soap. So I bought Dial.
She bought some Dial.
Just to get us through until we could get the kind we like.
So she puts it in the shower, and I use it, and I'm like, oh, my goodness. This smells like my grandparents' house.
He did. He said that. And I didn't even know when I bought it that was going to be like a nostalgic thing for him. I just, like you said, bought it because it was cheap.
There were two soaps that bring back vivid memories from when I was a child that stayed at my grandparents' house in the summer. It was Dial, and the other one was Shield. You remember Shield?
I remember it. I never used Shield. The one I remember using was Irish Spring.
Oh, yes, Irish Spring as well.
It was also kind of pretty because it had like those green and white, sort of like a wavy marble design. And I really liked the smell.
Oh, yeah. That one did smell good.
Okay, so we're going to talk about different categories. We didn't give you guys any specifics. We just said comment with what the 80s smell like. But we did come up with some trends in the responses. Keith hasn't actually seen the trends. I wrote all of these down, and we also have not talk to each other about our list, which we have compiled.
Yes, we made an independent list of what we thought the 80s smelled like, and I'm curious to see what we had similar and what we had different.
And also, some of these things are still available, so we are going to try smelling. We've brought some props. So this should be a fun conversation. So sorry we don't have smell-o-vision. That has not been invented
You'll have to
yet.
go buy your own.
Yeah, you'll have to go buy your own, or you'll just have to go off of your memories. And also, we want to know what you guys think. Like, what did we forget about at the end? You can tell us, or what brings back vivid memories for you from the 80s. All right. I love this comment from our friend Cindy Pruitt, who said, the 80s was bold, even in smells.
I like that.
I mean, it's true. We had bold decor, bold pop music, trends, clothing, and also the smells. The smells were bold. The perfumes, the, toys even were scented. The stickers were scented, as we talked about. Everything was just in your face and in your nose.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with the category of food, everybody's favorite category. Let's talk about food.
Love me some food.
Of course. Okay, so our viewers, by far, number one smell that reminded them of the 80s as far as food goes is pizza. And that could include things like Pizza Hut, Chuck E. Cheese, Showbiz Pizza, so places, pizza parlors, or just plain old pizza. Or how about the smell of pizza in the cafeteria on pizza day at school?
I used to love pizza day. Get those square pieces of pizza.
Totally. So what food smells remind you of the 80s, Keith?
All right, so I had a couple. One is sitting right here, and that is cereal, and specifically Fruity Pebbles. I love this cereal back in the 80s, and our friend Allison bought me this for my birthday recently. I have not had Fruity Pebbles probably in 20 years, probably.
Me either, and I haven't smelled it yet either, so we're going to open it and take a whiff. I was very excited to see it is gluten-free, so I get to have some.
Smells so good.
Okay, let me see. Oh, that does smell good.
Yes. It smells exactly the same.
It smells like Saturday morning.
Yes, it does.
You know, they made a candle of that. I should have bought it for you. I saw it at Target a while back. I don't know if they still have them.
It would make me hungry all the time.
I know. They had these candles of the different cereals.
Okay.
Which I thought was kind of fun.
Yeah. So one other one I had, and all the rest of my foods are candy, but one other food I had was Doritos.
Oh, that's very distinctive.
Yes.
And kind of stinky. Like, it would give you bad breath, for sure.
I love that smell, though.
But not to smell someone's breath, but when you open the bag.
Now, when I say I love the smell of the original flavor.
Not the Cool Ranch?
You can take the Cool Ranch, throw it in the trash can.
I liked Cool Ranch, but Keith has an aversion to ranch.
Oh, ranch makes me gag. And the smell of Cool Ranch Doritos makes me gag. But the original Doritos,
Okay. Now, our friends online, most of theirs were actually to do with fast foods.
Yeah. I could have went like McDonald's.
Yeah, so we had we had McDonald's, we had Taco Bell, Grandy's fried chicken. Sylvia said that specifically reminded her of the 80s because that was her first job. In 1985. And our friend Mark, also, that was his first job at Grandy's.
Oh, man, I would have been drinking all that sweet tea.
Oh, my gosh. That would have been a dangerous job for you.
Yeah.
They also said Cinnabon at the mall.
Oh, that would be dangerous, too.
That's still a great smell.
Every time I walk by there, it's like, I could be like totally stuffed, and I walk by Cinnabon. I'm like, all right, I'm hungry.
And is it Cinnabon or Cinnabon?
I go Cinnabon.
I think it's Cinnabon, but I think for a long time I said it Cinnabon, and I'm not sure you guys can tell us which is right.
Is that kind of like Whataburger when you say Waterburger?
Waterburger. Okay, and only our southern people will know what that is.
Yeah. How about, was the pretzel place in the 80s, Annie's?
I know
pretzels?
I think it was, or at least the 90s. And still now, our mall smells like that and Orange Julius.
Yes.
Which is an amazing smell. As far as beverages, we got a lot of people that said Cherry Coke because Brian remembered when they introduced Cherry Coke in the 80s, it was just such a big deal. Like that year, I think it was like a summertime thing, and we all were drinking lots of Cherry Coke. And it does remind me of the 80s too. I'll agree with that one. Regular Coke, we got Cherry Icy.
Okay, so for beverages, I had two.
Okay.
One was Tang.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Tang has a very distinctive smell.
We have a video about that. In case you missed it, it's a classic. You should definitely tune in.
And then the other one I had was Gatorade, but in the powdered form.
Oh, powdered Gatorade.
Yes.
So, well, for me, it would be like Kool-Aid. I never made powdered Gatorade.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know if I knew that was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wasn't an athlete like some people.
Well, if you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter. What movie is that from?
All right. Any other foods before we move on? Oh, you want to talk about candy?
Well, did you have any foods?
I didn't write. I was just writing down what our friends said.
Okay.
Now, foods from the 80s. I mean, popcorn. A lot of people said popcorn like at the movie theater. That would be one for me because I went to the movie theater a lot. And nachos. I always got the nachos too. So those kind of things. But yeah, my memories aren't really tied to a food smell as much as when we get to like the toys and beauty products section. But how about candy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what's your top candy?
Probably my top candy would be Jolly Ranchers.
Yes. Specifically for me, the green apple ones.
Yeah, green apple by far is the strongest.
Just reminds me of the 80s. My best friend Laura, she loved those. And then watermelon. I love the watermelon ones. Other people said sweet tarts, which I also loved. We also got the answer of Luden's cough drops, the wild cherry ones, and I still use these whenever I'm sick. Recently, I had a cough, and I was eating the heck out of these.
Like candy.
They are like candy, so I'm going to put them in the candy category, although they technically are a cough drop, but let's face it, they taste like candy. And then we had a lot of people who said different flavors of bubble gum.
Oh, yeah, I have those written down.
Okay, so Big League Chew, obviously.
Big League Chew was at the top of my list.
That's your favorite. We had a lot of people that said Bubblicious.
Hubba Bubba.
And Hubba Bubba. That's
And
right.
my ultimate favorite gum during the 80s was Tidal Wave.
Oh, that's right. You liked that. The one with the
Like
goo in the middle.
The goo in the middle.
That's right.
And then one other one, Big Red. Remember Big Red gum?
The Big Red freshness lasts right through it.
Yes.
But you know what? I didn't like Big Red because it kind of burned your tongue a little bit.
It had a strong flavor to it.
I like hot tamales. That would be one for me, hot tamales. But for some
Yes.
reason, I didn't like Big Red. How about Juicy Fruit?
It was okay.
It smelled good.
And what was the other one? Double Mint? I didn't like Double Mint.
Double mint. It's just mint. What was the one with the little zebra? Oh, Fruit Stripes.
Fruit Stripes that you chew it and it would last for like 2 seconds.
Right. But for those 2 seconds or
It was
minute,
great.
really minute or two,
Yeah.
it tasted great and smelled delicious.
And you got a tattoo.
Kind of. Tattoo a little blob. Okay, we started off talking about Aquanet because that was the top answer from our viewers. I actually didn't use Aquanet back in the 80s. Did you?
No.
All right. I brought my caboodles here today to show you guys and tell you guys about some of the products that I enjoyed back in the 80s. So in the 80s, I didn't use Aquanet. I used Aussie Sprunch Spray and Aussie Mousse. And guess what, you guys? It's still available. It still smells amazing. And I still use this. I rediscovered it a couple of years ago, especially this mousse. This stuff is awesome. It's a Sprunch Mousse and leave-in conditioner. I've even got Keith using it now, too.
Yes.
Got you hooked on it,
Have
too.
my leave-in conditioner.
Yes, you got to have that soft hair. And then the Sprunch spray is just awesome if you want sort of just like that wavy look. But it smells really good, and I love that it smells the exact same how I remember. It's in a purple can, and I don't know what it's supposed to smell like, but to me, it smells a little bit like grape, like a grape candy.
I can see that.
Yeah, so
It definitely is a distinctive smell, though.
Yes, it does. How about you? What products remind you of the 80s?
All right, so I have a pretty long list. So, we already talked about Irish Spring.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Aquanet. Pert shampoo.
Oh, yeah. That was the one in the green bottle?
That was the one in the green bottle, yeah.
It smelled really good.
Yeah. Do you remember Finesse shampoo?
Yeah, I remember it.
It like came in a blue bottle.
Mm-hmm. I didn't really use it. I did use Pert some.
Okay, and then Salon Selectives.
Yes, I loved Salon Selectives for the smell. Kind of an apple smell. And you know what? They still make that one too. And I bought some. I found it at the dollar store, you guys. So I bought it and we tried it. I have to say, it still smells the same. And if you just want that nostalgic smell, it's worth buying. However, it's really not that great of a shampoo. It's not like a high quality shampoo product. So
You get what you pay for.
yeah, you get the smell. Smells amazing. Doesn't really do a great job on my hair for myself.
So just put that one in the shower. You can smell it. Then you can use another one for your hair, actually.
Okay.
And the one final one I had was, what kid, when they're teenagers, does not have acne? So
Yeah.
do you remember those Oxy pads?
Oh, yeah, I remember them. I didn't use that, though, but that
Okay.
reminded me of the one that I used.
Yeah, so that's the one I used, and it definitely had a distinctive smell
Strong.
to it. Yeah.
I used Sea Breeze,
Oh, I remember Seabreeze too. Yeah.
which was basically straight up alcohol with a little bit of a scent to it.
I think I tried them all. They never worked that great.
Okay, so some of our viewers said suntan lotion.
Oh yeah, like copper tan.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Like that coconutty smell. And Sun In, which you probably aren't familiar with. Did you use Sun In?
I don't even know what Sun In is.
I think mostly girls use this. It was a hair lightener. You would spray it on your hair, and then you would lay out in the sun, and the sun would like help lighten your hair.
Oh, they need to bring that back. All the dudes would use it now.
Yeah, well, I think boys were using it on their. Remember when it was
On
cool
the
to have like the
tips,
tips? Yeah. So we also got the response of Vidal Sassoon cherry almond flavor, Salon Selectives. Alicia agreed with us on that one, and then of course Aquanet. Some just said generic hair gel, Rave hairspray, and another product you're probably not familiar with, Nair.
You only use that if you wear short shorts.
Yeah, I remember the commercial. So Nair was a hair removal like lotion.
Sounds painful.
It wasn't painful, but it stunk to high heaven. It was so stinky.
Is it like a chemical reaction on your legs?
Yeah, it's like burning the hair off or something. It was very stinky, and you had to, after you applied it, you had to just sit there and like you couldn't touch anything because you didn't want to get it on your sheets or anything. Like you had to just sit there and wait for like something. It felt like forever. I think it was like 20 minutes.
So what's the advantage of using that over a razor?
I don't know. It's supposed to get it
Silky smooth?
smoother. I don't know.
Okay.
I only tried it once or twice and decided it wasn't worth the hassle, but it definitely had a strong smell.
I feel sorry for you ladies having to do all that extra work.
Yeah, right. Okay, some of the ladies also said lip smackers,
Oh, yeah.
which you're a dude, so you'd probably remember those, but I'm sure you didn't use them.
Yeah, I remember girlfriends having those.
Oh.
So you'd kiss the girls with the lip smackers on.
Oh.
So I guess you got lip smackers through transfer.
Okay.
She's like,
That's
TMI.
gross. TMI. Okay. Well, there's another one. There were lip smackers, and then these ones were my favorite. These are the lip licking lip balm, the lip lickers or lip licking lip balm. They came in the little tins, these little
What
tins.
do you mean lip lickers?
That's the brand.
Oh, okay.
Lip lickers, lip licking.
Okay.
Lip licking lip balm.
Let's try one.
Yeah, I was going to say, these are actually new. They're not vintage, so it's safe for you to try. I definitely remember loving the smell of these, and we got several people who also mentioned these. So the one you're trying is grape. These are reintroduced, you guys. So if you love the lip licker tins, the lip licking, oh, it just got on your nose a little bit. So I have peach and grape.
Grape definitely smells much better.
I remember this, though. It's one of those things that when you smell it, it takes you all the way back. So they've reintroduced some of these products, which is awesome because now we still have the scent, but it's fresh, and so we can use it. Unlike the next ones I'm going to talk about. So you can open that one. Okay, these were Avon lip balms, lip glosses that had a scent, but these are actually from the 80s, and so they don't smell good anymore. You didn't even open it.
I can already smell it.
I know, you have to twist it open.
All right.
These are some of the ones that I had. This is this one was like a little crayon box. That one's supposed to be chocolate chip cookie, but they smell rancid. You definitely do not want to use these anymore.
But how cute does that look? It
But
looks like a
they're
cookie.
They're so cute. And look at the crayon one. These were the ones I had. These smell, well, they don't smell right. It's supposed to be grape. It doesn't really smell like grape. So these were from Avon, and they've become quite collectible. I'm going to put them in my Etsy store if I can manage to part with them.
Yeah, those crayons are super cute.
They're the cutest thing. And so these are the ones I had. Chocolate chip cookie, crayons, and then this one was cola. I mean, they're just adorable. Look at that.
Oh, fun.
And it's supposed to smell like cola. Maybe a little bit. The smell's kind of worn off, but look how cute they are.
Yeah, those are super cute. I can see why you'd want to keep them, but you should probably sell them.
I know. Okay, another Avon product, and this is our top-selling item in our Etsy store, are these pins. These are perfume pins. So it looks like a little novelty pin, but they have like a hidden compartment with perfume inside. Now that one smells okay.
Yeah, that one smells good.
Yeah, that one's from the 90s. This one's from like the 80s or maybe even the 70s, and they sort of lost their smell.
Yeah, not so good.
But, you know, people are buying them. I think maybe they're putting their own fragrance in there or lip balm or something.
Those are cool. It's like a little secret compartment.
Yeah, and they're super cute. All right, how about perfumes and colognes from the 80s? What were your most memorable ones? Like if you smell it, you think of the 80s.
Well, probably the most memorable because I wore it was the green polo.
Oh, that one reminds me of my dad.
Oh, yeah?
Because my dad wore that.
Yeah, your dad's cool.
Well, obviously.
I'd say also Calvin Klein.
Okay.
And
Like CK1, was it called?
I don't know what it was called.
Okay.
And some Dracar Noir.
Oh, Dracar Noir was like, that was our number one response.
I never wore that, but I definitely would recognize that smell.
Yeah, it's very recognizable. A lot of guys wore it. My friend Scott wore it, so it reminds me of him when I smell that. I tended towards Love Baby Soft. I liked the baby powder fragrance, and a lot of girls were into that. Some of the other ones that were mentioned by our viewers, Exclamation.
Oh, yeah. Is that the one that the little bottle looked like?
Had a cute
Yeah, I
bottle.
love that bottle. That was a cute bottle.
Black and white.
Totally forgot about that till now.
Yes, very cute. I don't remember what it smelled like, but the bottle was adorable. Electric Youth, which is Debbie Gibson's perfume. It had a cool bottle also.
I don't remember that one, but sounds cool.
I never smelled it. Giorgio, that one reminds me of my grandma because my grandma wore that. Jean Naté.
Never heard of Jean Naté.
Poison. I don't remember the smell of that one, but I do remember it being popular.
It probably was gnarly. It would kill you.
Yeah. So those were some of the, I don't think it would kill you. I was like, yeah, wait a minute. I don't think so.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Those were some of the perfumes and colognes that we all remember from the 80s, and some they still make. I was trying to get my hands on some Love's Baby Soft, but it's hard to get. I think they still make it, or they were for a while, but man, every time I look on Amazon, it's like about to sell out or it's sold out. So I don't know if I can get it. But speaking of baby powder, we have to transition over to toys and talk about my favorite scent from the 80s is Cabbage Patch Kids. Now, unfortunately, my dolls have lost their scent.
They lost it.
I really was hoping that they still smelled like baby powder. And even the new ones, I bought some new ones in boxes that were like new, old. They were old, vintage, but they were new. I was hoping when I opened the box, since it'd been like trapped in there, it might still smell, but it didn't.
Oh, darn.
I know. But you guys, good news. I found sort of a solution to this issue because a while back I discovered this product that is so cool. It's called Wonder Wafers. So I don't know if you guys have heard of these Wonder Wafers. They're air fresheners, basically. The way I discovered them was at the car wash. They put these under your seat in the car wash, and I was like, man, that smells so good. And then for a while, I didn't know. I thought they sprayed something in there, you know. But then when I was vacuuming out my car one day, I found one under the seat. I'm like, oh, that's what it is. And it's like new car or clean car smell. Smells really good. So I had Keith buy me some to put in my car whenever, you know, the scent wears off. And he doesn't really like them. But
it's too strong for me.
It smells really good.
I have a very sensitive nose. It's like if I walk into like Bath and Body Works or any like Yankee Candle or someplace like that, I mean, my nose is just like, boom.
He gets allergies.
Yeah.
But I love the smell. Well, anyways, long story short, or short story long.
Short story long, yeah.
So I looked online, and it turns out on Amazon, they have like 24 different flavors. So some of them are like strawberry and coconut and stuff, but they also have one called baby powder. So I'm like, baby powder. So I asked for some of those for Christmas, and I got a pack of them. They come with, I don't know, like
5,000?
No, 25. A pack of 25 for like, I don't know, $12 or something. They're not expensive. And they're individually wrapped. And so when you open them, lo and behold, it does smell a lot like
it does.
the baby powder smell of a Cabbage Patch Kid.
It's strong too.
Yeah, they're strong. Well, this one's been open for a while.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it would be good to like rub it on your doll or anything. You could probably put it in like a satchel and put it down in their diaper as long as it's not touching the baby.
What if you could put the baby in a bag and then put the wafer in there with it?
Probably. But what I did was I opened it and I just put it on the shelf in the room by where I keep my Cabbage Patch dolls. Then when I walk in that room, it smells like baby powder. It's like the little nursery for them.
You're tricking yourself.
Well, I also think it being in the air, it might get on the dolls, kind of. I don't know. Yeah, you're kind of tricking yourself. But hey, you do what you got to do. It also comes in strawberry. So maybe, just maybe, it might smell like these.
Oh, strawberry shortcake.
Strawberry shortcake, which was our #1 response for toys that smelled from the 80s.
That is a distinctive smell from the 80s.
Okay, so here's blueberry muffin. Take her hat off and see if you can catch a whiff of the blueberry. Mine has no scent I'm smelling strawberry shortcake. Poor baby. She just does not. She smells like, just like attic. Yeah. Which is where she's been.
Same with this doll.
Sad. She doesn't smell bad, but she doesn't smell like what she's supposed to. Yeah. I mean, the blueberry, I might detect a hint of it, but not really. But anyways, the Wonder Wafers are really cool. So if you want to have like a little scent to maybe trick your nose or have a little nostalgia of strawberry shortcake or Cabbage Patch Kid baby powder, I'm going to put a link to those below in the show notes and also below in the description. So you can check them out if you want to. I personally think they're great.
Yeah. So there are a few toys I want to talk about before we move on to the next category. And one of those was slime.
Oh, like Nickelodeon, like green slime?
Well, no, like the slime that you would get in the little container.
Oh, the putty that's... Yeah.
Well, like some of them, like I had one that you could make. Like
it would make it fart.
That you can make farting noises.
Yes.
And that definitely had a distinctive smell to it. And then
we had one of our viewers answered that too. They had said slime.
Yeah. And then another one. Remember the scented pens?
Oh, Mr. Sketch.
Yeah. So I drew. Well, I colored. I didn't draw it. I colored this. We had a Easter egg coloring contest back in the day, and I used the scented markers to color this. And I did get honorable mention.
Good job, babe.
Yeah.
Was that at the drugstore? My drugstore, like Rexall drugstore, had one of those.
I don't remember who did it. I think it might have been
yeah, look, drugs.
Yeah, Bradley Drugs and Frames and Things were the ones that gave the prizes. But yeah, I got my name in the paper for honorable mention.
Wow.
So anyway, I used to love those pens. Well, I would smell the heck out of those. And what was your favorite scent?
Oh, I thought you were going to open it and see if it still smells.
It does not still smell.
Oh, darn.
I checked. That has no smell.
My favorite scent from the sketch markers?
Yes.
I mean, probably like, I don't know, like cherry or something.
Okay.
Why? What was your favorite?
Licorice.
Ooh, I don't like licorice. That's my least favorite.
The black marker was my favorite. It was licorice. I loved it.
Oh, that's so interesting. But you also like licorice, and I hate it.
Yeah, and grape probably was a close second.
Oh, yeah, grape smells really good.
All right, another one. We already talked about stickers.
Okay.
How about Play-Doh?
Oh, yes. One of our viewers mentioned Play-Doh. I love the smell of Play-Doh.
Yeah. And then my final one that you did have a personal encounter with when you were teaching was a stink bomb.
Oh, no.
Do you remember the stink bombs that used to come in those little glass vials?
Like the really strong ones. Of course I remember them. Yeah, my students brought them to school.
They were rough. We used to be able to buy them at the grocery store.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Our students brought them, and they were like contraband at the school. I taught 6th grade. Turns out we finally got them to confess where they were buying them from. The ice cream man who was parking out in front of the school and selling them under the counter. They were like,
shady ice cream man.
They had a shady ice cream man. And they said, well, we buy them from the ice cream man, but you have to ask for him special.
He keeps them under the counter.
They're under the counter. And our principal went out there and read him the riot act and told him,
don't ever come back here.
You better not ever show his face on our campus again.
As Tom Petty would say, don't come around here no more.
That's exactly what he told him. And we were done with those stink bombs because that was nasty. Yep. Oh, gross. All right. So some of the other things that people said were, Jen said library books.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a very distinctive one.
Yeah.
Jen's husband says potpourri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Potpourri used to be really popular.
Oh, yeah. A lot of grandmas had that
Everyone had that big bowl of potpourri.
The stinky potpourri.
What was up with that?
I don't know. And you'd refresh it with like the oil stuff. Oh, yeah, that was nasty. School supplies in general were a common one. New crayons.
Oh, yeah.
Sadie likes the smell of new crayons. I like that smell too.
I do too.
Barbie dolls and baby doll heads, like the plastic heads. Besides the Cabbage Patch, but the ones that weren't supposed to be scented that just smelled like plastic.
Yeah, one thing I remember about plastic are like Halloween costumes.
Oh, yeah, the real plasticky ones. Like the Ben Cooper ones.
Like the mask, I mean.
Yeah, like a shower curtain, like when you first take it out of the package.
That was definitely the smell of plastic.
Yes. How about the quick coin change purses, the ones you squeeze and the little coins come out? That's a very distinctive one.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's one on there that I noticed that I totally agree with was the electric race car set.
Oh, yeah. That did have a distinctive smell.
And it definitely had a smell when you ran the cars.
Uh-huh.
It emitted some type of smell, like when it would kind of get warmed up.
Like the batteries were getting hot.
Well, no, when the battery was like when it would run on the track, it would kind of emit some kind of smell.
It's burning the rubber.
Yes.
Yeah, Henry mentioned that one. I thought that was a good one. And our friend Retro Mike VHS says VHS tapes.
Yeah.
So I want to see if you think that these have a distinctive smell. I mean, it's really faint. Maybe a little bit like an old electronics smell.
Well, you know, it kind of, when you went into Blockbuster, I mean, Blockbuster smelled like tapes.
Okay, well, let's talk about places. That's a nice transition, Keith.
Okay.
Places that have a distinctive smell from the 80s. Do you have any of those besides Blockbuster?
I didn't have any on my list. I think Blockbuster was the only one that immediately comes to mind.
So if you smelled that today, would it just make you, would it remind you of work?
Yeah.
Since you worked at Blockbuster?
Yeah. It's kind of a mixture of popcorn with movie tapes, you know.
And like old carpet.
Yeah, kind of like I was about to say, mixed with a mildew of kind of like old carpet, just old building.
Yeah. But his Blockbuster, they didn't all have this, but his had a popcorn machine, and they would make popcorn, like movie popcorn. And so I always got excited when they made the popcorn.
The only downfall with the popcorn machine is if you popped it, you had to clean it.
Yeah, so I would come by when we were dating still, before we got married. We were still dating, and he worked at Blockbuster, and I'd be like, oh, please, would you make me some popcorn? And
okay,
he would always do it.
Yeah.
He knows the way to my heart.
I was a sucker.
All right, so places. Thomas says stale beer / house party. Okay. Thomas was a little bit older than us in the 80s.
Yeah. Smell like a frat house?
Yeah, like a frat house. Big Al says toy store, like specifically like Toys R Us or KB's.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, those places did have a distinctive smell, like the tires from the bikes mixed with plastic, I guess, is how they described it. Yeah, that was Michael Duncan's description. I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
So just in general, like your school. Like one time when I was an adult and I was like student teaching and learning to be a teacher, I went and observed at my old elementary school. I walked into that school and I swear I took one whiff and I was back in elementary. I mean, the smell, not that it was stinky, but it was just so distinctive just being in that place. My school was an older school, so it had that older school musty library smell. And man, that was so nostalgic for me. It was really weird. If you've ever stepped into your old school, you'll know what I mean.
I'd say one that I just thought of was Grandma's house.
Oh, yeah. It could be good, like Grandma's baking.
It usually was bad, though.
Okay, well, that's just the smell of like every estate sale I go to on Fridays now. And after I go in those grandma houses that have like the musty, dusty smell, you know, you said that your nose bothers you when you go in a candle store or Bath and Body Works. That's me when I go into these old basements when they're musty. It really makes me sneeze and it really itches my nose. So I just want you guys to know the sacrifice I go to go and dig up these 80s treasures for you guys at these estate sales.
All right, my nose is literally on sensory overload right now, so I think it's about time to shut this podcast down.
I agree. My nose is getting a little overwhelmed from all of the scents, but it's been really fun to talk about the smells of the 80s.
Yep. So what did we forget? What smell did we totally overlook that you would say it has to be on the list? Let us know.
All right. And we will talk to you guys next time. Thanks for watching and listening.